Hey there guys, welcome back to Hursty Games and welcome to a video talking about the new league specific upgrades that have come out with Team of the Year, and these are some of the best times to grind for packs, to grind SBCs, and honestly these are definitely the real deal. Today I'm going to talk about sort of the best way to try and get these, ways to focus on them, and how really you can best utilize them, plus kind of talk about which ones are most beneficial for you. So if that all sounds interesting, make sure you leave a like on the video, it supports me, the video, the channel, and everything at a whole bunch. Without further ado, let's get into it. Very quickly before we start, very quick word from today's video sponsor and brand new channel partner, and that is West Coast UTD, your home of all things FC24. Whether you want coins, trading advice, FUT Champs boost, rivals boost, or FC coaching, they're all available. And if at checkout you use code HurstyGames, you will save yourself 5% off your order as well. So thanks to everyone who checks out West Coast UTD, and thanks West Coast UTD for sponsoring this video. Okay, so for those who don't know, and if you don't, what have you been doing? We have had our Premium League upgrades and Standard League upgrades. So the standard ones for 11 non-rare gold players, you'll get yourself 4 players that are gold rated from the specific male and female leagues with 1 rare player. So this MLS and NWSL one, for example, for 11 non-rare golds, you'll get 4 gold MLS and NWSL players, one of which will be rare. And then you've got these premium ones. Again, all of the leagues that have Team of the Years in them are within these as well. And for the premium ones, for 11 rare golds, you'll get yourself 11 players from the specific leagues, 4 of which are gold. Now, these are fantastic. I think last year, it was something like 8 players and 3 of them were rare. Like, they've really nerfed these last year with Team of the Year, whereas this year they've gone all in, given us some great stuff. I think a couple of years ago it was 12 players, 3 rares, which is sort of like a standard 25k pack, but these having 11 players and that extra rare, so 1 less player but 1 extra rare, I think it's really good. I think it's kind of a fair way of doing it, just taking out 1 player, giving you an extra rare. I'm absolutely here for it because it makes the grind really, really easy. Now, it's super, super obvious to kind of say, look, complete these, whatever low rated non-rares you get, so anyone that's basically 82 or below, just recycle into them, and then you can have another one after however many you've opened up. So for like every 3 packs you opened, if 11 of those 12 rares you got were pretty terrible, you can make another one. That's pretty straightforward. That's pretty easy. And then obviously for all of those as well, you're getting non-rares that you can throw into the standard upgrades of your choice. So it's kind of basically about working out which is most beneficial for you, which helps you the most. And it kind of really does depend on your personal preference for the players that are in packs, the Team of the Years that are available. For me personally, any of these that I make, I'm going to hold for the full team. I currently have, it's just over 1,200 packs saved for Team of the Year. Again, for the full squad, I'm waiting until Friday for the 12th man and woman to be in as well, which is most likely to be Ronaldo. And I'm going to assume probably Olga Carmona. I think most people will see Spanish, Spanish league, pick her. Same with Benini, but I just think Olga Carmona is probably going to win it. I voted for Benini and I voted for Trent. Nothing against Ronaldo. I like Trent. That was basically it. Waiting for those to come out when we've got the confirmation, it can really kind of alter maybe ever so slightly how many players are in the packs for each one. So the La Liga ones, at the moment, you've obviously got the 3 midfielders. You've got the 2 Spanish women's, Patelas and Bonmati, and then you've got Jude Bellingham. Those are all available in these right now. So if you're opening them now, I'd probably recommend this one. To be fair, Prem as well, you've got De Bruyne and you've got Rodri. So these are the 2 that I'd recommend doing if you're opening right now. They're also the 2 I'd recommend doing if you're saving for the whole thing. Unless there's a specific player that isn't in the Spanish League or the Premier League or the Women's Premier League or the Women's Spanish League that you're actually interested in, these are definitely your best chance. Obviously, the Premier League is going to have a real depth of players. There's a lot of players in the WSL, the WSL and in the Premier League that are obviously not going to be blue. Just loads and loads of rare golds. However, there's 9 Team of the Years available through opening these packs. There are 9 across the men's and women's English leagues that are blue cards. So obviously, that is something you have to take into account. That is something that you have to go, wow, there's a lot of cards available in this. The La Liga one is the second highest, I believe, with 5. It would be 6 if Olga Carmona or Benini win on that vote as well. So a good possibility of there being more. Obviously, it could be 7 if Valverde wins as well, but I think Valverde's probably going to finish 3rd in that one, and Ronaldo will be the winner of that, I would assume. Be interesting to see if they release Saudi packs if he does win. That'd be very interesting to see, but time will tell. Regardless, I think these are Some pretty interesting ones, and I think these are probably the best two to kind of rinse and repeat. I'm going to really focus on the Prem ones, and then I'll have a few of the League F ones, because some of those, I mean, all of them would get into my team, obviously, but the Prem ones are the ones, again, with 9 impacts. That's the one I'm going for. Looking at the other leagues and the other options, the MLS and NWSL, you've got 2. You've got Smith and Messi, so there's 2 available through those. The Serie A, you've just got Hernandez. Hernandez is the only option. Great card, but I do not at all plan to prioritize these. The only thing that's worth thinking about is the depth of golds. I don't think it's crazy high, because the women's Serie A, I think there's literally just Juventus. I think it's the only team that is in the game from the women's Calcio A. I might be wrong, but I think that's the case. So the depth of golds isn't really massively high, considering there's 2 leagues in there, but you do also only have the 1 blue available. The Bundesliga or the Google Pixel Bundesliga, you have just Oberdorf. You'd potentially have Pop as well, if Pop also does get picked, but there were no men's Bundesliga players picked, obviously. So, oh, that's a lie, Frimpong. I've completely lied to you already. You have got Jeremy Frimpong. There's 2 available, just like in the MLS. I'm completely waffle merchant. So potentially 3 if Pop comes in. So again, for me, unless you're very particularly interested in getting Frimpong, because Oberdorf is probably one of the lower range cards, I would say these probably aren't really worth your time at the moment. I wouldn't worry too much about going and spamming loads of leagues unless you really want Frimpong. The Ligue 1 and the the women's and men's French league, you've got a few options. Obviously, Mbappe being the big option in there. You have Renard, Cachao, probably said that wrong. So there's a few available, with Mbappe being obviously the big highlight. I think it's always been that the Liga 1 doesn't have many rare or high-rated gold cards. Across a couple of FIFAs, it's always been like you had more chance of getting a special walkout during Team of the Year promos and stuff than you had of non-special walkouts. I think it was literally like Verratti was the only non-special card or something. I think it was last year during the promo. But yeah, there were loads and loads of real good special card options this year. Obviously, with the Women's League also being introduced and in the same packs, it does add a bit more to that pool of players. But I'd imagine in regards to actual chances for like percentage options, I guess you've got a decent chance in the French one, but because those sort of stature of players are really, really high, especially Mbappe, I'd imagine the pack weights are probably going to be pretty terrible anyway. But across all of these, I think for me personally, like I say, the Spanish League and the Premier League are the best 2. The Premier League for me being in first place, Spanish League being in second. I would honestly then probably say it's probably the Ligue 1 and then the MLS. Those kind of being in like joint second, third, that kind of vibe. Because again, depth of rare golds. MLS, not loads. NWSL, there are a good handful of rare golds, with the Women's American League being quite at the top or near the top of sort of quality in women's football. So there are quite a few, and there's only 2 blues, but obviously Messi, a huge step. Smith's a good card as well. Smith is a good card, but Messi being one of the best options in the entire thing. And then I would say the Bundesliga just above the Serie A, and that is purely because you've only got 1 player in the Serie A. And as I very lately remembered, you have 2 options in the Bundesliga. But again, for me, those are the bottom of the pile for those ones. In regards to actually getting these quite regularly, there's been quite a few options that I have seen a lot of people talking about. One option I will say is very much worth your while learning and looking into. And I have to give a big shout out to Fuzzball40, absolute goat of the trading scene in FC and FIFAs and everything. Go and check out his video where he talks about how you can do I think it's the mixed league upgrades is the one it is the mixed league upgrades he was mainly focusing on. Go and check that video, give it a watch, give it a listen, and see how he talks about rotating and using these to make more of them and to make more of these league upgrades, because it's a real good listen, and it's super insightful as to how to do it pretty cheap and cost effective. Gives you a good idea of numbers and good idea of what you can really then make from there. So that's for me definitely a real good method to do is listening to that, using what you get from that to put into these, and they kind of fund themselves. I think he was saying him and his chat worked something out like for every, if you were to spend 1 million coins, obviously that's a lot of coins. If you were to spend 1 million coins, you could make 700 packs that can then go into the upgrade. So that doesn't even include these upgrade packs, doesn't even include the premium ones. You'd have 700 packs before you started making these. Mental, absolutely mental. The guy is a wizard with making your fodder and everything last, so definitely worth checking that video out. Another way that I have seen a lot of people talk about it, and a lot of people justifiably making more of these packs, and people that this is mainly for people that aren't fussed about the other SBCs that are out. If you're not fussed about doing George Best or doing Zidane or doing Sour when she comes out, by the way, Sour, please, I need you in my life. If you're not fussed about those, anytime you get a half decent player from these, if you get an 85 or above, whack him into an exchange. Because realistically, all you're doing is then getting more and more players to throw into these other SBCs. So let's say you get yourself an 87 and you go, you know what, right, I'm going to get myself another 6 rares, which if they're all stinker cards, can just go straight into another upgrade. And then you get yourself another 13 non-rares. That's another one of the smaller upgrades, plus a couple of players to go towards another one. So I've seen some people say that what they're going to do is anytime they get themselves an 85 or above, duplicate or not, they're just going to chuck them into an exchange, get a bunch of fodder, and keep spamming these. And you know what? It's not a terrible thought process. That's not the worst idea I've ever heard ever. You know, I think there's some method to that madness. It is a little bit of madness, but there is some method to it. That is for sure. Only other thing, and I'm curious as to your guys' thoughts on this, and I don't know if I will do it or not, but I'm thinking about it. And that is putting my non-rares, instead of putting them into the standard upgrades. So instead of putting them into these, just putting them into gold upgrades. Now, the main reason for this is it's 2 rare cards. Now, obviously, it's 2 rare cards in any card that's in the game. I'm fairly certain, but I think technically you can also get Team of the Year icons from these. Obviously, your chance is probably less than 0.0001%, right? But any card packable from this, and it's 2 rares, and that is 2 more rares than you'd have got doing the other ones. Obviously, you only get 1 rare. You do get 3 non-rares, but all those non-rares are going to do is go straight back into those other ones where you're only going to get 1 rare. So my thought process is, for 11 players, you get yourself 2 rare golds instead of getting yourself 1 rare gold and a few more players to put into getting some more non-rare golds. Does that make sense? I'm not too sure, but that's my thought process. Otherwise, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my non-rares that are applicable to go into the League SBCs. So any non-rares that I get from like doing the Premier League and La Liga, they're going to go straight into this, and that kind of pays for, you know, a chunk of this straight away off the bat. Obviously, depending on the other ones I'm doing, like I said, I'm probably not going to do Bundesliga or Serie A. So those ones, I would have to go and buy those players, because I know for a fact I'm only going to be getting Premier League and La Liga players. But I'll use those non-rares to fund those. And it basically means that the highest rated part of this set of SBCs is done just pretty much categorically. And then it means I do have to use a couple of my rares, but you know, it's inevitably ends up being hopefully somewhat worth it. And then these will end up being done through whatever means. Otherwise, of course, depending on the rating of the non-rares I'm getting, because there's quite a few high rated, you know, like 80 to 82 rated non-rare golds in both the Prem and La Liga. If you're getting yourself plenty of those, you can probably justifiably go and get yourself some silver rares and still be able to get the rating that you need. But overall, I would say these upgrades are a big win. I think they're a big win. I'm a big fan of them. I think it's a really good job of EA. That extra rare does just make a difference. Yes, it's 1 less player, but the extra rare for me is what matters, and that does make a difference. And how you choose to use that fodder to then grind more stuff is kind of up to you. Are you going to put them into exchanges if they're high enough rated just to get yourself more fodder back? Are you going to use the non-rares to do the non-premium upgrades or to do gold upgrades to get yourself 2 rares? Or are you happy with the 3 non-rares and 1 rare from the specific league? Obviously, that is a difference in that section as well. Again, I highly recommend looking at the League SBC method shared by Fuzzball. Really worth your time paying attention to, and I cannot thank that method enough, because I will definitely be doing that during Team of the Year as well to make sure I get as many packs as possible. I'm on 1,200 and I want more, I can tell you that. Opened 1,700 in FIFA 23 and did get ourselves 2 blues, so I'm hoping to beat that this year. We've had 1 already on stream for a viewer, so if you want to see more of those packs, obviously jump over to the Twitch. There is a link down below, and on Friday, from 6 p.m, we will be doing opening packs until we pack a blue. We could be live for 24 hours If we don't pack a blue, we will just keep going. All right, so make sure you're there. Let me know how you plan on grinding these SBCs. If you've made some, when you're opening them, are you opening them now for midfielders? Are you going to open them for defenders? Are you going to make sure you save them for the full team? Or are you just going to bark at me like my dog is in the background? Sorry about that. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, leave a like on the video. It supports me, the video, and the channel out a whole bunch. If you're new, hit the sub button and turn notifications on to be told anytime that we upload a video. But that is it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Tom. You guys have been awesome, and I'll see you soon. Look after yourselves, and of course, wash your hands. Take care.